Or you?
All right. Good morning, everybody. Today's Thursday. What's today? November 8th, 19th.
19.
November 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Anything interesting happening? No, not yet. Um, Welcome to the show again. Quick disclaimer. This is just a conversation between me and Mike. None of this is supposed to be taken with any seriousness, just entertainment purposes. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Welcome everybody. For today, the topics include on personal development, dealing with drugs as a college student, young adult, fitness, what equipment is good for at-home training, and finance, investing and trading with a second lockdown potential, and some news updates. All right.
Hmm.
Let's jump right into it. So let's start talking about dealing with drugs as a college student or young adult. What can you tell me about that? Have you ever done
Man,
drugs, bro?
nah, dude, I'm a Christian holy boy, so I can't touch drugs in any way. I have to, got to make sure I stay pure so I can go into
What are
heaven.
those? What are those? I don't even know the
Right.
meaning of drugs.
No? Damn.
Nah, bro.
Well, in a hypothetical scenario where I maybe potentially would do drugs, maybe in a different universe, because there's
Facts, the
multiple
parallel
universes, right?
universe.
And those parallel
Correct, correct.
universes where the other guy, the other version of me does it. Um, Yeah, I
The,
would say he does quite a bit. Nothing too crazy, nothing hardcore, right?
uh-huh.
Just your basic things, stuff like your alcohol, maybe a little bit of the marijuana,
Oh,
and
actually,
yeah.
marijuana. Actually, alcohol is a drug, guys.
Hmm.
So we can all say we did drugs, even if you have taken like a little sip of alcohol. Um, yeah. Similarly, in a different reality, Mike, he was involved with drugs and he had fun with them. But he grew up out of it. I mean, how do you say it? Like grew
You
old.
got it.
Oh,
You grew up out of it.
yeah, I grew up out of it, and yeah, I'm this happy naturally. Okay,
So
now
would you say it's worth doing?
in all seriousness, now, definitely it is, in my opinion. I think as humans, well, this is my personal opinion. We are here to like experiment, and especially during those age, like young age, we're curious. We are want to see what is out there, what is all this fuss, or what is people that tell you not to do when you want to do it more because you're young and you just want to see what it is, how it feels. So that was one of the reasons why I started experimenting with drugs. And yeah, I mean, I have fun with it. I definitely felt when I was dorming, when I was like, well, not out of state because it is in the state still, but like when I was in Buffalo, I was experimenting with it too much, and I felt like I was throwing my life away. So I was getting carried away with it, and that's why one of the reasons why I decided to stop like completely. Well, not completely because I used them recreational like once a year or like
Every
every
once in a
so often,
while.
every once in a while, yeah, just
Right.
in certain occasions. But yeah, I think I don't know. That's one of the issues that I had to face through my college experience or through my teenage actually. What about you?
So were you like addicted to it at some point, or
No,
were you
no, no,
just kind
absolutely
of
no.
bored and you just kind of did it, or peer pressure?
No, it never was peer pressure actually for me because I decided to go into it by my own will. Um, Let me tell you, my first time when I used drugs, it was on Halloween. I think it was on my junior year or
Hmm.
my sophomore year. I think it was on my junior year of high school, and we were going to a haunted house with my friends, and we smoked like in the back of my house. The whole ride, bro, because I had to
Oh
go to the
no.
city. It was hilarious. Like we went to get the Metro North tickets to the point that it was so funny. I was trying to get tickets from the vending machine, and then two of my other friends who didn't smoke, uh, they actually bought the tickets for us, and it was hilarious. But yeah, that was my
Yeah,
first
that's how
time.
it happens, man.
Hmm. Yeah, and then when I went to college, I had more freedom. I, I just was experimenting, and it got worse when I broke up with my girl, my ex, and I kind of saw that as escape to like to like deal with that. So that's when
Right.
I start using it more frequent. Like literally, I used to roll a small joint, and pens was not a thing yet back then. So like I used to take them like a whole package with me before class, before exam, after exam, before I go to sleep. Right when I woke up, I will be high usually like 24/7. And I went like that like a whole semester, which was really crazy. But yeah,
But
I
you're here.
st- I'm here. Yeah, no, and actually it helped me a lot too because I started meditating. I started like analyzing things more, seeing things differently, as well as kind of like finding myself. And like that's one thing that I'm grateful to drugs about because I feel like if I didn't do if I didn't experiment with it, I would never had soul search. You know,
Yeah, I
what is
find
your
that
story?
you get a really good awareness with it, right? So like in a
Hmm.
similar fashion, I mean, I started a lot later than you,
Yeah.
right around after 21, right? So I've always heard that it's not a good idea to do it at such a young age because it might help hinder your development, especially your brain.
Hmm.
So and I was always around it when I was younger, especially in high school, but never really had an interest in doing it. Because during that time, before before high school, like I had an addiction to food because I was really overweight. So
Hmm.
all throughout high school, my battle was just trying not to overconsume food, and I didn't want to throw something else into the mix, like doing weed, knowing that
Hmm.
a lot of people end up gaining a lot of weight doing weed because it's really easy to just overeat and not do
Yeah.
anything else, right?
Hmm.
So I definitely didn't want to like do those two things simultaneously. But once I got my weight under control and I had a really good habit with my exercising and my nutrition, then I could focus on other things. And then that's when weed came into play later on. My first experience was pretty tame. Like people start like laughing a lot. Yeah, so that
Hmm.
was my first experience. I just started giggling a lot, which was fun. It was a good experience. But I'll tell you the worst experience that I've had so far,
Hmm.
and this was about a couple months ago. So me, my girlfriend, and her family, we went out to a trip out into like the countryside, right?
Right.
So just imagine like a bunch of trailers out in the open, like mountainous region. There's bears there. There's poisonous snakes and plants. So if you're not careful, you could literally just come across one of those things and just die. So
Interesting.
it's the middle of the night, and this area that we're in is just a bunch of trailers. There's no light or anything. It's just trailers,
Uh-huh.
and it's really dark. It's in the middle of the night, so it's just pitch black. So
That's
it smoked
beautiful. That's
smoked a
beautiful.
little bit, right?
Uh-huh.
We smoked a little bit, and here's the thing, guys. The best idea is to do it in a safe environment. Do it in an
Yeah, for
environment
sure.
that you feel safe, that you know what like all your surroundings and you know everything. Because
Hmm.
when you do it like I did it, not knowing where anything was in this area, that's where very easily you can start having a panic attack, especially as you're high,
Hmm.
because everything kind of just comes into the forefront. Like your awareness consumes you, and then you're just like, holy shit, I don't know anything, and I'm lost, and now I'm starting to panic because while you're high, everything kind of just multiplies.
Hmm.
So yeah, eventually we ended up walking around and got lost for a little while, and eventually we found our way back. But within the time felt like it was just never ending. We were going down the street and we were never getting to the end of the street. We just kept walking in an infinite loop.
Mhm.
So that wasn't fun.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you one story that's similar, it's very similar to yours, but it's completely different because I had a completely opposite experience. All right. So once a year, I like to go camping by myself, usually just to put my thoughts together and stuff like that. That last year, was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. I brought a blunt with me and I smoked it. Well, I was fishing, so I spent the whole day just chilling. When there was a lake, so I took a swim, blah blah blah. And right after the swim, I was a little bit cold because it was like mid-October. I smoked, bro. I was just chilling. I did, made some fire so to keep it warm. Boom! I was by the rock. I was close to a lake. I felt like it was already like getting dark. So the sun was down in the middle of the lake. I don't know if somebody threw a rock or something, but something like splashed in the water and it was huge. I look at it. I could tell you I saw something black, but it was me being high. In my culture, like in Ecuador, like where I come from, there are stories that you read as a kid and they call leyendas. Like it's kind of like myths, like there's a bigger snake in the
Legends, folk
lake or
tales. Yeah.
yeah, something like that. And bro, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Right after that, I was like, "Ooh, let me go to the other side." And I already had like a little stick, kind of like as a weapon in my
Oh yeah,
opinion.
the chupacabra.
Yeah, chupacabras and stuff like that. Yeah, and that's the only thing that I remember. But boom, after that, I started like kind of like shit. I was by myself, and then I was just like, "This is nature, bro. If I die, this is the best way
It's
to
gonna be.
die."
It is what it is at this
It is
point.
what it is. And I just had the best night after that. I just like feeling like I brought my notebook, started writing. I was just chilling, having a conversation with myself. It was dope. It was a really good experience. But yeah.
In that moment, did you feel like you kind of just surrendered and realized that you had no control? So
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
you
you
trying
have to
to
survive.
panic and control the situation is just worthless.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta
Mm.
something you gotta let it go. So
Yeah,
especially when you're high, you kind of I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Now,
yeah,
if you had experience with it, like yeah, there are people who can go like day by day, like high. I don't know how they do it because me, I become unfunctional once I smoke, and that's something that I hate. Not having control on my life because I go into like deep um thoughts.
right,
You
right,
see,
right. Yeah, I've seen
but
it.
yeah,
It gets pretty bad.
yeah,
But yeah, like listen, I feel like it's a good tool for sure. It makes you really
hmm
introspective. It makes you think about a lot of things that you probably wouldn't, or it makes you think about things in a really different way.
hmm
Um, but yeah, like be careful because sometimes it could, again, like you're saying, it can become
a habit.
addicting and like you can't do anything because you
hmm
might be the type of person that just can't function properly. I would wager to say most people can't really function properly if they're high all the time. So use it as a tool, again, recreationally, or if you feel like you want to sit down and kind of meditate on some ideas and things like that, you can do that. I feel like
Yeah.
that's really useful. But don't just like make it a daily routine or just a habit simply because at the end of the day, it is a drug and it's altering your mind in some form or fashion. And
hmm
I feel like you're at your best when you're completely neutral and you don't have anything in your body. However, there is something to be said that sometimes you can go a little bit further with something added.
A little bit, yeah. That's also one thing I kind of stopped, like, because I noticed a lot is that most of the weed that you get today is laced. Means that it's mainly chemicals. It's not. It's no longer natural. Like I remember smoking in high school, and it was like completely different experience. And now, it gets like stronger, and it doesn't give you that same feeling as it used to do. And that's also because I grew old. I mean, grew out of it and I kind of don't want to waste my time being high. That's one of the reasons too, because it's all about time. Because you don't want to do work. I mean, I used to be able to do work while high, but not anymore. Like I just like to chill, watch a movie, eat some food and stuff like that. That's usually the common routine when you smoke or like go to sleep. Like the only reason I would smoke now is to just fall asleep because I love to sleep when you're small, bro. That's you sleep like a baby. But anyways, um, so yeah, definitely it can become like a habit more than an addiction. I don't think we can get you addicted. You can, you know, cut it out and just move on. But comparing to other drugs where your body needs it, your body asks for it, but it can become a habit. That I agree with. Like you can
Mhm.
smoke more and more and more, and you start liking it, and you want to do stuff with it, and you want to like kind of have like routine your lifestyle around it, which I feel like it's not very productive, and you're always gonna be on the rabbit hole because remember when you high, your senses are very alerted, so you start thinking more and you start more kind of like questioning things a little bit more too. And we talk about like questioning things being good, but also can be dangerous, and that's one of the dangers I see when you you're high all the time.
For sure. Yep.
Hmm.
I think that about covers it.
Yeah, definitely does. Well, right
All right.
now we're just talking about weed. We might do another section for other drugs. That
No, alcohol. We didn't touch
well,
on
alcohol.
alcohol too much.
Yeah, I mean this is all based on drugs.
Right, right, right. And a different reality, right? In a parallel reality.
Different reality. Yeah.
As it
All
pertains
right.
to alcohol, real quick though, I would just say that,
Mm-hmm.
social drinking is good. You can drink every once in a while in a similar way. Just obviously that one can become addictive. So
Yeah.
make sure to, you know, be disciplined with the drinking.
Yeah. Alcohol can actually become addictive. That's true.
Hmm.
All right. Let's jump to the next topic so it doesn't get too long.
Hmm.
Fitness. What equipment is good for not for at home training?
Sweet. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't really need too much for at-home training. I mean, honestly, for a while there, the only thing I was using is my body weight. I was just doing hit training, so high intensity interval training with just my body, or some type of decent little strength training routine with your body. So squats, push-ups. If you can set up a pull-up bar, that'd be good. I used like two chairs as a dip station, so I would do dips with two chairs right there. And then you can experiment and do more complicated exercises like a single leg squat. So that's a pistol squat.
Mm-hmm.
You can do the assisted version, things like that. So you can definitely get really creative with it and just use your body. But hypothetically, let's say you kind of want a little bit more, or you don't have full control of your body weight yet, so you kind of need something else before you can start there. Some basic suggestions that I would have for you: you can get some dumbbells. You can either buy like a small set where you have a lightweight, a medium weight, and a heavyweight, or you can get the adjustable one. So those are a little bit more expensive. They can run you anywhere from about $500 to like 800, but you kind of have all the weights there. So it's really cool to just be able to adjust it on the fly like that. Some other stuff, resistance bands. Resistance bands is a pretty big thing, and most people overlook them. Usually, only really see like people that training as an athlete or something like that using it, or girls doing their leg routines with just doing butt stuff, and that's about it. But you can definitely use resistance bands to kind of hit those smaller muscle groups that you really wouldn't be able to hit otherwise. So definitely would recommend you getting those. I mentioned it earlier, pull-up bar.
You need
If
a
you do,
yoga mat, I think.
and
That's
you
the
can
only
also
thing that you need.
definitely mat. The pull-up bar I mentioned earlier, if you can get one of
Mm-hmm.
those, you can get the ones that attach to like the door frame. Those only cost like 30-40 bucks, and once you can
Mm-hmm.
attach it to the door frame, you're set. Unless you break the door frame, but that's another problem.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's it. What do you got? You
Yeah.
think of anything?
Um. Well, in my opinion, like this is my personal opinion, you don't need any equipment to begin with. The only thing that I might see very useful is the yoga mat because you wanna, you're gonna sweat and you wanna please for your gym. You don't wanna be cleaning your floor all the time. that's the only thing that I would say like it's very essential when you start working out at home, because first, when you begin, you should be concentrating on your core exercises and your body weight. So once you get that out of the way, you can, start lifting like dumbbells and stuff like that, a little bit more complicated exercise and definition as well. So usually resistance bands are very useful if you want to define the muscle. For example, like you want to specify that tricep or bicep. Oh damn, I lost muscle.
Damn.
uh, but yeah, and for example, the pull-up bar, I feel like that's another tool that's very, very useful because in your house there's little things that you can find, something that you can do the pull. Unless you have like two chairs, and you can just use that, or two cabinets, or like two furnitures where you can do incline pull-up. But pull-up is a really difficult exercise, and maybe you can get that also. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Two things I think, in my opinion, are essential: yoga mat to start, at least the yoga mat, and the pull-up bar, any
Hmm.
any sort of pull-up bar. Other than that, you can do push-ups, you can do squats, you can do a lot of things. Just things that you already have in your house.
Right. So when I was going over it, I kind of just gave you like the most cheap options
Hmm.
that I could find. But if you want to get a little bit more, I don't know, more creative with it, you can obviously get some of the more hardcore options. So you can get like a squat rack. And
Hmm.
sometimes, I mean, if you're gonna get the heavy duty stuff, it's gonna run you quite a bit of money. But if you want to get the cheap stuff, you can probably find stuff for anywhere from like 200 to 500 bucks. Get a bar, get some plates. You
Hmm.
can even have a whole gym setup in your house for under $3,000, and that way, you kind of have that there. And as we're going to talk about with the next topic, with the quarantining again,
Hmm.
potentially, uh, having an at-home gym might be very beneficial for you. And if you have the extra money to spare, I would definitely recommend that you can kind of get yourself set up that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. It's all about saving. You don't need that gym. You can just use your own body. That's my
You don't know,
personal opinion.
man. You never know. I
All
mean,
right.
you never had a workout station at home, right?
Nine. Well, I have my own like personal, like a small, but that's the issue too with working out at home. Once you have
But you know what?
control
Let's
of
save
your.
that. Let's save that for another topic.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, because it's
Working out
getting
at
long.
home versus working at the gym.
True, 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 true. All right, boom. Finance, investing and trading with a second lockdown potential. What do you think? So you don't think
So,
that vaccine is going to be out there soon?
so there is a good chance that the vaccine is out there soon, but
Hmm.
I don't know if you heard, but New York City public schools are closing starting today,
Correct. Yeah.
right? So I feel like that might just be the domino effect. So we start there, and then everything starts closing little by little. Um, so with that in mind, I don't think the vaccine will get out in time before we start closing everything down again. There is a potential, that is. I'm not saying that everything will close again.
Hmm.
No, nobody knows at this point, right? Um, but yeah, there's potential, and I would say, with that being the case, you start thinking, what are some good opportunities that I can take in order to actually start making money in the stock market? So, two things ended up. Well, there's one thing that really became like the stock during the pandemic, and that was Zoom, right? Everybody was on Zoom. Everybody was in
Hmm.
class using Zoom. Everybody's at work or doing work from home using Zoom. So that blew up, and there was a lot of value there. That we definitely missed out on it, but I'm sure a lot of people did as well. Um, some other stocks like Peloton definitely blew up because that's at home workouts, right? Their
Hmm.
bikes run like $3,000, but it's a whole workout station. So people definitely like using things like that. But
Right.
yeah, what ideas do you got?
Well, there's. I feel like there's definitely a potential for another lockdown, and we're already going through it because we are on a third wave, and well, people are not taking it very seriously. Even I didn't take it seriously, in all honesty. But I got infected. If you guys didn't realize, I had the Rona last week, so I'm self quarantine right now. I don't get bored, unfortunately, because I got tons of work to do. But um, there's cases rising like all throughout the city, and believe it or not, chances are that you're gonna catch Rona if you put yourself out there still, because 1 out of 3 they have Rona, and you don't know if whether they do or they don't. So now, when it comes to an economic perspective, I think this lockdown is going to be a bit different than the first one, because one, we are going to one of the busiest month of the year, which is the holiday season. Two is the end of the year. Three, we having a shift from the president, so we have major catalysts. And what this is going to cause is going to cause uncertainty on traders and investors. They're not going to know what to exactly to do. And a major variable that we have to take in consideration right now is the approval of the vaccine. Now, Moderna and Pfizer, they both have developed vaccines. Pfizer with a now they claim that it's 95% accurate and I mean effective, and Moderna 94 point something percent. Now, will I take the vaccine? I won't take the vaccine. Fuck that. They can make up those numbers, and I'm not going to risk my life until I know it's secure. Like I seen like thousands, millions of people taking it, and they have survived. I'm not gonna be the lab rat. So now a lot of people are gonna think the same way as I'm doing. So they're going to be also like certain variables they're gonna take in, that are gonna push people to take the vaccine. Maybe your job requires you to do it. Maybe you want to travel, and it's one of the requirements to do so. And also, if if you're an elderly, you're tending to, be more trying to get your health on order and blah blah blah. But a lot of people like my age, a lot of people like young people, they're not gonna risk it. That's my thought. Like we kind of stubborn and we know how vaccines work, so we kind of understand that it's a risk that you're taking, especially with a new vaccine like this one. So this is all gonna cause uncertainty, and that's what the markets are showing right now. Even though we had strong numbers from retailers yesterday, some of them they didn't jump, or they didn't increase as I was expecting. Target it went up like 3% or 2%. Nvidia fell down yesterday. What else did I saw? Hold on, I was just reading that this morning. Well, what I'm saying is that you know investors are, oh, Lowe's also went, with their earnings report yesterday. Lowe's actually did pretty good, 8% up, but the market overall, it's flat. It's not going up, it's not increasing anymore. It's just uncertain right now at this point.
Waiting.
And when it yeah, and there's also no any talks or any confirmation that we are going to have a stimulus soon or not, which is affecting, like it's putting our economy to a very crucial point. And we are going to notice that at the beginning of next year. So we'll see what happens. That's my personal opinion about the situation and how
Sure.
this can affect.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple things there, right? The vaccine stuff, retailers coming up with all the the holiday season. I mentioned stuff earlier like Zoom and Peloton, which are like at home things, like at home stocks.
Right.
So you should try to create a nice little watch list of stocks that kind of incorporate all of these things and kind of just keep an eye out because a lot of these things can kind of blow up at any moment. Um, Zoom and Peloton already had a really massive run,
Yeah,
so they
they're not gonna
can
would
potentially double down and go up again, but there's no certainty of that. And perhaps it's already been priced in with the first lockdown, so people are not so so bullish on it. So they're not just going to keep buying it again, even if we lock down again. So yeah, be careful with that, and yeah, no,
yeah,
that's
no,
about it.
definitely, definitely, definitely. But one thing that I do kind of see potential in is hospitality. It's gonna pick itself up. I would be mentioning this. That's because few things right now people are trying to kind of escape. They're being so frustrated at home during all this quarantine. People are starting to travel, and I see it like on my acquaintances group. Like I see more and more people taking the risk to go to like Florida, Mexico, different states, right? Well, countries that have been already open. That's one of the risks about COVID, and I feel like a lot of people also are feeling a little bit more safe now that they know that there is a vaccine out there. So definitely keep an eye on hospitality and air travel because it
Mhm.
might pick itself up and it might have a run unexpectedly. And I'm
Been
keeping
having a
my
nice
eye.
run recently too, so
Hmm.
you kind of just
Yeah,
build on the momentum that it has now.
exactly. But yeah, other than that, I don't have any updates news. I realized that I talk about my updates during that.
Yeah, pretty much did the same.
All right. But yeah, so is there potential? There's always potential on the market. Is there a risk? The risk I feel like is a little bit unexpected or a little bit uncertain and
Hmm.
maybe a little bit higher than the previous wave, than the previous lockdown. But yeah, I mean, let us know what you think. Um, yeah,
Just
other
stay
than that,
safe and you know
facts.
be smart.
You catch Rona. Don't be an idiot. Oh, no, no. What is it? I started watching The Office yesterday. Um, what is that? The one that says,
No, no, no. I never
oh,
watched The
when,
Office, unfortunately.
bro, The Office, that shit is
I know I heard
hilarious.
a lot of good things about it.
Nah, okay, boom. It's Dwight. He's like, whenever I'm about to do something, I ask myself, will an idiot do this? And if he would, I don't do it. Get it?
Yeah.
Anyways, so don't be an idiot. Don't go out there unprotected. And it's well, it depends on your body, but it can get bad. It can go worse. With
All right
that,
then.
guys, time to say deuces.
Adios. Hasta mañana.